I'm on 2nd Avenue North and Broadway right now. You can see this is mass chaos behind me. That is tear gas being deployed right now in downtown Fargo. For those who are in Fargo right now, it may seem like it's really not that bad. You head out of town 10 minutes and it's an absolute whiteout. We know that there were multiple times that he did fire his gun. We talked to witnesses that it happened on the north side of the building near the garages. Another witness tells me he watched the man shoot rounds off of his 3rd floor balcony. Police say that this is extremely frustrating, and Chief Otterness says that the lack of action by Google in such a dire situation is frankly unacceptable. We now know that it was likely a broken rail that caused this train to go off of its tracks late last night. She says shortly after that is when she heard that gunshot, and that's when 2 of those men then fled from that garage. There are these times that these big guns come up, and it does kind of impact visibility, again, especially outside of city limits.
I would give my life to see my daughter get up off that bed.
Immense blood loss and a bullet to a major artery near her clavicle has Lucia Garcia fighting for her life.
We're just trying to stay strong for my sister.
Lopez says while she was emotional to get the call about her sister and nephew being gunned down by Garcia's boyfriend, 24-year-old Malik Gill, she says she wasn't shocked, saying her sister and Gill have been in a tumultuous relationship for nearly 2 years.
I think it just came to a point where we as a family felt like unless she decided to walk out of the relationship for good, then there was not a whole lot that we could force her to do.
In April, charges were filed against Gill for domestic assault after court documents say he pushed Lucia to the ground and grabbed her by the throat. A warrant was still out for Gill's arrest at the time of the shooting, and a no-contact order was in place. But Lopez says the 2 were back together shortly after the incident.
She would just make up with him and things would go on like nothing had happened. She is a good girl who made a mistake. Trying to build a family of her own.
The family says they hope sharing Lucia and Dominique's story will help other domestic violence victims find the strength and courage to leave before it's too late.
You don't want to go through what we're going through or have your family go through what we're going through. There's really no words. Seeing her, it breaks our hearts.
And her family says while they know she's not out of the woods, they say Lucia is a fighter. Bailey Hurley, Family News Live.
The most prized possession a parent has comes to us, and for a moment to think we can't keep them safe, it's heartbreaking.
Safety is forever evolving for schools, learning from the districts already victimized and taking advantage of new tactics and technology to better prepare should evil ever walk through their doors.
You hope and pray that it never happens, here or locally, but the reality of the world today is we have to be prepared and have to know how to respond should the unthinkable happen.
Part of that preparedness lies in shooter drills and lockdown training. The other half of the safety equation lies in these.
Truly comes to your first line of defense, and that is your locked exterior doors. If they cannot get in, there's not much damage they can do.
Statistically, it gains you about 1.5 to 1.7 seconds in a situation by already having your door locked and closed.
A 2020 survey by the National Center on Education Statistics found 1 in 4 schools across the country do not have classroom doors that can be locked from the inside. A key security feature missing in the devastating school shooting in Uvalde, Texas this spring.
If I would say there's one major issue in our building, it's that.
Northern Cass, Central Cass, and Kindred are just a few of the schools in the valley without interior locking doors, which has forced districts to get creative to ensure everyone in the building is secure.
All of our teachers pretty much have their doors locked all the time, but during the school day, they put that magnetic plate on so that it doesn't lock. And in the case of an emergency, all they need to do is remove that metal plate. The door automatically locks.
To combat the security shortfalls, districts try to ramp up safety measures elsewhere, corralling visitors to only come in through the office, signing the guests in with their driver's licenses, and escorting them to where they need to be.
They'll scan their license, and it's able to do quick background checks.
I think the greater challenge is our community expects access to the school. This is their school. And sometimes it can be conflict if they perceive that they're not allowed into the school because, don't you trust me? What do you think I'm going to do? And you want to be welcoming, but you've got to do it within a reasonable means as well.
To upgrade locks for every door within Northern Cass's building, Steiner says it could cost between $50,000 and $150,000. Money Steiner says the district doesn't have the budget for. And at Central Cass, Deputy Scott says the district is in dire need of an upgraded security system. And one bid to the district estimated the work would total more than $250,000. But Scott's grant to the state asking for that money has already been denied once.
It's hard to get funding for something that people really don't see or understand how important all those pieces are.
The traditional model of funding schools just does not provide for those extra expectations that are placed on schools. And I think the state legislature is really going to have to take a look at how schools are funded.
I know Cody's in a good place, and it's a weird way of saying it because he's not here, but he is a man of God, and so am I, and I do know he's okay, and we will be okay too.
Clinging to her unwavering faith, being a good mom, and making her husband proud are just a few of the things that help Mandy Hurley get through the tough days.
Just try to picture him happy, and he was happy, like, almost all the time. So it's not hard to do.
Together 8 and married just shy of 4 years, Mandy speaks of a romance full of love and support.
He made me feel comfortable and protected, but also he was just a sweet person.
The Hurleys welcomed their son Gunnar in July 2019, just 10 months before Cody would be tragically taken from his new family.
Cody wanted to be a dad really, really bad. And he only got a day shy of 10 months, but that was like probably the best 10 months of Cody's life, to be there for Gunny. He won't know Cody the way I want him to, but I can help him get through it.
But remembering his dad is something Gunnar is already doing on his own.
Every police car is Daddy's car. Everyone. No matter if it's a sheriff or a police car, but it is, and he knows. He knows who his dad is. Every night, we say our prayers, always, and then he goes and he kisses his dad, and every morning, good morning, Daddy. Every time before going downstairs. Like if we're rushing, because sometimes we're late with a 2-year-old, we have to go back up and we have to say it.
2021 has come with serious milestones for the Hurley family, bringing the 1-year anniversary, the conviction and life sentence of his killer. And just last week, Hurley was honored at the National Law Enforcement Memorial in Washington, D.C. Things Mandy says haven't exactly brought her closure, but have helped in moving forward.
He's always a hero to me, and I think he is a hero of the community, which I'm proud of.
She emphasizes she'll never be able to thank the community enough for the love and support shown to her family in the last year and a half, and says she hopes no one ever forgets the man behind badge number 639.
I want people to keep moving. I hate moving on. That's not the right word. It's moving forward, but still remembering. I don't want it to always be what happened. I want it to be how he lived. And so I want the community to remember him as a hero, but that he was more than that too.
Now, 2 of those things that Mandy says all of us can do to remember Cody differently comes down to car washes and bologna sandwiches. Mandy says Cody loved car washes and would smile ear to ear going into one and jokes she doesn't understand why, but she says that he loved bologna sandwiches. So whether you go into the car wash in the future or just drive by one, or if you're at the grocery store this week trying to decide maybe if you should pick up ham or bologna for the week, she hopes you think of Cody and that it brings a smile to your face.